Are you a student who's trying to balance trading and all the other crazy important things you have in your schedule to make sure you don't fail? If yes, then you're in the right place. So I picked up trading 6 years ago as a college student myself, trying to finish my undergrad degree and moving into grad school. I continued to learn in grad school. I became obsessed with the space, just trying to learn and understand the power it held because, to be honest, I saw people all over social media and even knew some people personally that were making some big money trading. Since then, I have been able to move full-time into the space and have done over $200,000 in prop firm payouts over the last 2 years, but it really all started with being obsessed with my trading education at the time I picked it up. My job now and my journey over the last few years has allowed for me to be able to meet thousands of traders that were in the same situation as me and are looking to succeed in their journey as traders. In this video, I'll be sharing with you some of my bad habits and some of my good adjustments as a student that led me to where I am now, as well as some of those good and bad habits I've seen some of those students and young people I've met over the years in my journey as a trader. So a quick overview of my schedule at uni, college, wherever you're from, what you call it. I did mechanical engineering as an undergrad. I got my bachelor of science in that. And then I did my master's of science in biomedical engineering. So I had a pretty packed schedule just with coursework, but I also was a student athlete at the time playing baseball at the school, as well as working 2 part-time jobs because I had to pay for tuition somehow. And if you haven't heard my story before, even with those part-time jobs, I actually left school with over $130,000 worth of student debt, which thanks to those prop firm payouts, I am now debt-free today. So let's start out with some of my bad habits in that crazy schedule. Pretty much the only thing I did correctly was actually manage my time and prioritize my education as a trader, my obsession with the space to try and understand the power it held. But to be honest, my trades at that time were not consistent or profitable at all. They were pretty garbage, to be honest with you. The little success I did have looking back at some of those trades I placed, to be honest, it's completely luck. Absolutely beginner's luck. And those losses I did take were really what I deserved because I really was not reviewing my trades at all. And I was just hoping to place a trade each day to gain experience as I was learning. What I should have been doing at the time, rather than trying to place trades during the day, yes, this was committing to learning about it, but to be honest, it wasn't doing me any good because I was mostly losing money on those trades. I should have been using that time to at least review the ideas and the strategies I was trying and back testing those rather than actually placing the trades. I do wish I spent a little bit more time with some simulated funds or paper trading rather than trading my actual money because I didn't have much at the time being a student and I pretty much lost whatever I put in the account. But the one thing I did do well was actually block out time each day to learn trading or actually try to place a trade. So sure, I was building some experience at the time, but to be honest, I should have been more dedicated to reviewing my trades and back testing and working with simulated funds. That would have saved me a little bit of money looking back, rather than just getting lucky sometimes, giving it back to the market, and repeating that cycle over and over again. So again, just me expecting myself to place a trade every day. First of all, not much of a trading plan, but also as any other college or uni student, I definitely had a fuzzy mind some days after a night out at the bar with friends. Definitely do not recommend getting into that habit because you're not going to be in the right headspace to be able to actually execute confidently or even formulate a formidable trading plan. So what my routine looked like as I moved into grad school after undergrad and when I started making a little bit more progress as a student was going to be taking the time to journal and review my trades. I will say I was still placing a little too many trades looking back and reflecting on that time, but at least at this point, I was actually journaling my trades each day. So I was writing down my entries, my exit, and the result of the trade, as well as a few notes and reflection of, did I follow my trading plan? Why did I take long? Why did I take short? Why do I believe this happened? Whether it's a win or loss, like what did I do well? What didn't I do well? This was a habit I started to pick up, again, as I started to take trading a little bit more seriously in grad school. So that was one of the habits I picked up that, again, starting to focus more on reviewing my trades rather than actually placing them. So yes, I was still placing too many trades. I will say that. I hope those you watching this video choose not to overtrade as much as I did at that time. If you are placing trades, though, take the time to review and study them. That should take up more time than the actual trades themselves. It is much more important to develop that process of reflecting than actually placing the trades themselves. And at this point in my trading career, again in grad school, I'm getting ready to finish up that master's degree. I started to need to focus on my career and job interviews. This is finally what got me to stop over trading a little bit, because I understood I'm going to be at a job interview all day. I'm not going to be able to look at the market. I need to prep for this job interview to make sure I actually get the offer. This forced me to stop feeling like I needed to trade every single day. But after those job interviews or career fairs, I would go home and review what the market did that day and do a little bit of back testing. So this, again, even though it was kind of forced into my hand with the job interviews, this started to become a better habit that I stopped forcing myself to trade every single day. Like I said, in undergrad and even early in grad school, I was definitely over trading. I wish I could take credit for developing the habit right away of stopping myself from feeling like I need to trade every day. To be honest, though, it was all career fairs and job interviews that finally got me to stop feeling like I needed to trade 5 days a week. So I did mention at the beginning of the video, I was juggling quite a bit in my schedule as a student. So obviously I had to learn how to manage my time. To be honest, again, this was a habit I had to create being a student athlete, and doing a somewhat advanced degree with coursework, and time was already pretty tight. So time management was at least one of my strong suits. But I just try to teach everybody, you need to decide what your priorities are. If you're going to consider trading at all, it does need to be somewhere on your priority list. You can't half-ass it and call yourself a trader. It's just too difficult, and this is why 90% of traders lose. They give it a half try, lose a little bit, and then never trade again. If you don't put trading on your priority list somewhere, I promise you will be part of that statistic. So for me, while I was in school, my priorities looked like school, baseball, time with friends, and then trading. I understood that day by day. That's pretty much how I broke up my schedule. Majority of my day was studying and coursework. A couple hours was baseball, a couple hours with friends. My leftover 1 to 2 hours in the day at most, that's what I dedicated to learning trading. And like I said, placing a few too many trades at the time, but I did dedicate time each day for that because those were my 4 priorities at the time. So I do recommend, whether you're a student or just somebody struggling with time management in general, list out what your priorities are, whether it be career, maybe a partner or a family member. List out where those priorities are. That's how you should be breaking up how you are spending your time. Priority 1 with the most time, your last priority on the list with the least amount of time, but still giving it time because it is on that priority list for you. So this obviously will require you making some sacrifices. So I mentioned time with friends, to be honest, was my number 3 priority when I was in undergrad. When I moved to grad school, most of my friends had graduated and moved into the workspace while I was still at school full time. Trading slid up to be number 3 on my priority at the time. So it went school, baseball, trading, then time with friends. I was going out a little bit less, partying a little bit less since most of my friends had graduated. Trading slid up on my priority list. So I started spending more time trying to learn trading and develop a skill rather than going out and partying, which, to be honest, I still really enjoyed time with friends and teammates. Just was not as much of a priority as it was first 4 years of my college experience. Grad school is when I really started to focus on trading a little bit more. So I did sacrifice a little bit of time with friends, teammates, partying, but I was willing to do that because I did want to make trading more of a skill set that I was prioritizing. As a student, again, we obviously have a lot of things in our schedule. We need to decide what we are trying to accomplish with trading. Of course, every trader wants to be profitable at some point. But for me, I am thankful for this. I did decide that I was prioritizing my education as a trader. I was not prioritizing becoming profitable as quickly as I could because from what I had heard from experienced traders I talked with and whatnot, that was going to take years of experience. I was just focused on building an education and building experience because I felt 1 to 2 hours a day, I could do that. Realistically, talking with other traders, I knew 1 to 2 hours per day for a couple months was not going to turn me into a profitable trader. I needed years of experience built up to be able to develop that. So while you are listing out your priorities, wherever trading falls on that priority list, understand at the beginning, unless it is priority number 1, you're probably not going to become a profitable trader right away. It does take a lot of time and effort. So if it's not priority 1 on your list, please go in with realistic expectations. I am thankful that I did have that mindset from the beginning, that I understood I'm not going to make a bunch of money right when I pick this up. I understand the power it does have long term, but until that is a top priority for me, I may not be seeing a whole lot of money coming my way. So now let's talk about when I really did find success. So I did mention I was able to jump into trading full time over the last few years. I'm obviously here at Alpha Futures now in the trading space full time. That is really when I found my profitable edge and really started to progress as a trader, is when that trading career all of a sudden was the top priority in my life. It was able to jump over engineering. It was able to become that number one priority in my life. And part of that, to be honest, was talking with other traders. I mentioned that for setting realistic expectations. I had some pretty good mentors in my corner that had done incredibly well, made upwards of 6-7 figures trading in the markets. They were able to set some realistic expectations for me for the first few years, but getting into communities to talk with some of these experienced traders made a world of a difference for me. And again, starting to visualize where I could see this being on my priority list long term. So I cannot recommend enough, if you decide to join our Alpha Futures Discord community, there are thousands of experienced traders in there, funded with us, funded with other firms. I am a live funded trader at multiple prop firms myself. I would love to be able to talk shop with you. I cannot recommend enough putting yourself in communities where you can set realistic expectations, as well as realize the power trading does have just by talking to other traders. Alpha Futures is an evaluation-based prop firm that supplies traders with the ability to gain access to professional funding opportunities. Our mission is to provide the most reliable firm with access to the best trading conditions and elite platforms available to futures traders around the world. Our one-step evaluations allow for you to be able to trade with significantly more leverage and buying power than you would be able to as a typical retail trader. Head over to alpha-futures.com to get started today for as little as $79 per month. So again, to wrap up here, I have found success in trading over the years. Again, I have been able to pay off my student debt. I am very proud of what I've accomplished, but understand it is only as trading started to climb that priority list for myself from when I was a student, just picking it up for the first time, to now being full-time in the prop firm space myself as a trader, as well as an executive here at Alpha Futures. It did not really come to fruition until I was ready to make it climb that priority list. Set realistic expectations for yourself, but understand it absolutely is possible. If you guys like this video, found it helpful, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button as well as the subscribe button. Drop me any questions in the comments and tell me what you want to see next on the channel. I'll be happy to do that for you guys. Catch you soon.